One of the things that's very, very important is you've got to be able to see this as you're operating your HiPod. This is the screen at the bottom of your HiPod, and as you're panning, tilting, and zooming, you got to know, how much battery life I got left. Am I recording or am I a standby? How much time, how much space I got on my hard drive? Those sort of things. And let's go through some of this though. I'm going to hit the home button here. All right, and right here is the toolbox. Let me go to here. When you get it, when you get your camera and you turn it on, you want to get into this mode, and you want to hit on this. You want to hit this toolbox setting. And there's two windows, 1 and 2. You want to scroll down to, I believe it's the second one. And what you're interested in is the output settings and the general settings. So let's play with output. And what you want is this display output. All right? And you want video out on the panel as opposed to the LCD panel. But let me hit LCD panel so you can see. You lose all that text information on the screen. So I'm going to go back and touch that and accept it. All right. So now let's go back to, I'm going to hit this button here, which is return. Good. And now I want to hit this general set. Okay? Now, what we're going to look at here is this auto shutoff function. We don't want auto shutoff, because what happens if you don't do anything on your camera for 5 minutes, it goes to sleep, and that's bad. So we don't want that. So, see, you have an option here of auto shutoff after 5 minutes or never. We want never, and we're good. Those are the two functions for the most part that I'm concerned with. Your demo movie, I don't want that to be on. Let's go, it's off. Okay, good. And I'm going to hit OK over there. Let's see. Good. So you can explore this, obviously. It's your camera and you can play with it. But those are the two functions for shooting a HiPod that are most important. Now I'm going to mount the camera on top of the HiPod. The plate has a lot of space. Technically, if you wanted to, you could put 2 cameras up here. We'll talk about that some other time. But first off, I'm mounting. Notice how I just tighten the screw as far as it goes, then I tighten the thumb screw. All right, I showed you this cable before. This is the new Sony D connector cable. It gives you the video, which is the yellow, red and white is the audio, and now you got this female lens control cable, and we'll go over that next. All right, now obviously you can see this is where the video comes out, this is where the lens control comes out. This is the in-between cable that connects the video signal from there to the big HiPod cable. So, let me just insert this here. All right, that's a 2.5 connector, and this is a 3.5 connector. Now, this is where we're going to connect the video and the lens control to the rest of the HiPod. But before we do that, there's a little protection system I've come up with. Very simple. It's what we're calling a strain relief. A very simple strain relief idea. Make a little loop here, give yourself plenty of slack. All right, and then this is where you connect the video, the audio, the red and the red, the yellow, the white is left alone, and then you connect this video, or excuse me, the lens control cable. That will give you the lens control. This is the cable that extends the entire length of the HiPod. All right, and let's elevate one just so you can see a little bit here. All right, what I do is either I Velcro that cable, or I put it underneath the cam lock, or both. This keeps it away from the ropes that actually control the tilting of the head. And you do that for the entire length of the HiPod. All right, so lifting. See how you try and keep it on one side away from the lens control, or the handle controls. And you do this down the entire length of the HiPod. Now we're going to cut to and look at how it enters the LCD at the bottom and the control at the bottom. All right, I've showed you how to attach, we got the video coming out of the camera at the top, and we know the video is going down the length of the HiPod, down this long HiPod cable. Now this is the end of it. This is how we're going to get the video and the lens control, or at least the video into the LCD, and then the lens control active. Now, the first thing we do before we do anything is what we call that strain relief idea. This goes a long way in protecting stuff. Just a very simple knot here. All right, give me a second there. Okay, perfect. So a little simple knot there with a little slack. Now, we're going to take the red and the red and the yellow and the yellow. Remember, this is the video cable that's coming down the length of the HiPod, and this is the little lead coming from the battery pack coil cable to the LCD. And obviously now you can see the video picture on the actual screen. All right, so now you've got picture. The only thing we're missing now is the lens control. And here's the actual connector. It's called a Mini XLR, and here is the controller. All right, so I'm going to place it on the right side hand of the handle, and then you'll see. You don't have to force it. You just kind of find the spot. It'll start to slide in, and then you click it. The way to disconnect it is hitting this button, like the battery pack. But notice lights came on the controller. All right, that means we have now control. So if you look at the screen, you're going to see I can zoom in and out. I can actually do a lot of things. I can zoom in and out. I can record either video, as you can see I'm recording there. I'm going to hit it again to stop. I can actually record stills. All right, so I think I just clicked off a photo. Some cameras have that function, some do not. The other thing down here is I can wake up or put the camera to sleep. I just put the camera to sleep. The lights will go off in a second or two here, and I can also wake the camera up. So some cameras have that feature where it'll go to sleep if nothing's happening for 5 minutes. That's a function in the camera, mind you. So getting text on the screen and making the camera constantly stay on are two functions within the camera. So, but for what we're talking about here, we have the harder you push on the zoom, the faster it is. The softer you push on it, the slower the zoom is. All right? And at the same time, we can shoot our HiPod van if we have to. Okay, so here's the battery pack. Here's the cable, the coil cable, off the side, down the length of the coil cable, up into the monitor. You can see the picture. All right, when you come down here, you'll see that this comes into here. You'll see also this, which leads over to the controller. But let's go back to the video. And now we go up the entire length of the HiPod up here. Last thing I think we have to talk about here is the laptop plate. This is the bracket that holds the laptop plate, and here's the actual laptop plate. Now, you'll see a lot of these little bolts on it, some screws here. The nice thing is it's tool free. No more tools are needed for the actual laptop plate. On the flip side, you'll see there's a couple screws and these two rods. Now we'll get into that right now, but first let's go and loosen this. All right. Now, one of the things I like to do is when I set this up, I like to mark this where this fits perfectly. I mean, you'll have to do a little eyeballing to see where the plate will line up perfectly, but once you get it, what you should do with a marker or with a Sharpie or something, mark the legs as to where this was. Where is this sweet spot? And I think that's probably about right there. I'm not sure. All right, so now you got these 2 points of contact on the leg. Okay, now we've got the bracket set up to receive the plate. Make sure that the rods are facing the top of the base, and then line it up. Actually, before we do that, you'll see some screws underneath here. Let's take them off. This is the way it actually comes in the box, you know, when you receive it from us. All right, so I got that lined up. I loosen this here. Don't undo them, just loosen it. And then the rods, you can kind of twirl them around. The key is try and never take it off, because you don't have to. Once you start taking stuff off, that's when you're going to lose it. So just tighten this, all right? And now notice you can put this, well, let me do the other one so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Loosen it, twirl it around. Remember, you don't have to take it off. Just kind of extend it so the holes line up. All right? Okay, now they're lining up pretty good. Now you can see them a little low. I'm going to have to lift this up so that we actually can attach this, and I'll do that in a second. But you can see the base has holes on every corner. So technically you can move this off any leg and put it on any other leg and reposition this to be in any position that you want. All right, so that's the nice thing. It's positionable in any position on any leg. Also, not only like in this rectangular horizontal position, but you can also set it up so it's in this other position. You know, one was horizontal, this is more vertical from my position at least. So it is possible. You can reposition these rods so they connect. So a lot of versatility here, whether it's like this or like this. All right, once again, this is the bag that comes with the actual plates. We've already attached one of the bolts in the back here, so we've got that. Let's go through the one in the front here. Let me line this up. It's not threaded, so it's very easy to actually put on. All right, that's easy. Okay, so now we've got this point of contact, and this here, but it's not bolted on. All right, you got this leg here. The only thing left is this one screw. And now if you look at the bottom of this, you'll see there's a slot, and you can insert this inside. And that will secure the plate to the actual bracket. So this is one little screw. You can see, we'll do a close-up of it, but there's a slot. You just find the hole and tighten. All right, and as you do that, that ensures that this isn't going anywhere, and this can hold a lot of weight now. So a laptop is not an issue for this thing. It's very, very sturdy.